You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Charlie, I have a question for you.
What we got, Kadeem?
So, you know we have the Kadeem curse, right?
Yeah, we got a Kadeem curse, okay.
Do we have a Go Time Dolphins curse? In terms of...
With the friends of the podcast?
Every time I watch the intro and I see Jones and
so I just seen Brandon Jones, bro, and I'm like, and then 40 Acres in a Hellcat. I don't know, bro. No. Austin Jackson, bro. He got re-signed. Javon Holland gonna get re-signed, bro.
Yeah, but then like I've got the Tua jersey and he's gonna get re-signed and like
no, we good, bro. We good. Tua gonna get re-signed. We good. We in there.
Yeah, let's hope we don't have a. Anyway, listen. Before we delve into a lot that's happened over the past few days, I want you to do us a massive favor, and not just the usual. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Bebo, High Five, Plenty of Fish, Christian Mingle, dating, like wherever you do your dating, wherever all that kind of stuff. And obviously subscribe to us on YouTube as well. And if you're feeling generous, Patreon. I want you to pause this episode very quickly and go watch our last two episodes, our interviews with 2024 NFL draft prospects, Julius Wilkerson and Carlos Urbana, aka the Champ. Two amazing dudes, two guys who the conversation both before and after the pod was brilliant. During the pod, even better. And we genuinely wish them the best of luck in this draft process. So if you haven't watched those episodes yet, go back and watch them. They are so much fun. Great guys. Charlie, how are you?
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and I second everything Kadeem Simmons just said, bro. Them boys it was so much fun. You know what I'm saying? Carlos, Wilkerson, all them boys, like both of them boys, like, listen, yeah. Y'all seen the episodes. Both of them are dudes too. You know what I'm saying? And you can see them in the locker room. Kadeem, I got something off the top for you. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, just came out. A guy took $10,000 from his girlfriend. $10,000 without her knowing, unknowingly. She didn't know. And bet it and won, like, I want to say 100,000 or $1 million, something like that. It was like he used it to gamble and he flipped it into like more than 10 times. So I guess it's more than 100,000. But then he gave it back to her. He gave her the money back. She wants like 4 times the money now. Should she get 4 times the money, or should she just get her money back?
So I don't know if Hannah Montana is watching this. Maybe not 4 times the amount, but you can get a bit. You can get like maybe I'll treat you to a nice dinner and get the best seats for a Dolphins and Miami Heat game. Maybe you get that. No, what? I'll buy you a new bag. We'll get a new TV. Maybe even treat you to a nice car. But I won the bet, even though it was your money. I won the bet, and I've given you back your money. So what more do you want? Like I'm just saying.
Bro, I'm looking for it again, and I really want to get the actual numbers right because I was a bit perplexed. Like, yo, this is interesting. But he did take the money from her, Kadeem. He stole the money from her, and then he paid it back. I mean, I don't know. I was about to say I like it. I don't like it because it's kind of misleading. I would not steal from my girlfriend. But yeah, man. to flip it.
So apparently it's from Nigeria. Happened a year ago. Man
Yeah,
stole his
what?
girlfriend's 10K to play bet, won 100 mil, and gave her 10K back. She is furious.
100 M's, 100 M's, bro. So
Apparently he
100
won.
M's, and she wanted 40 M's, right? She wanted 40 million of it. Nah, she not getting 40 million, Holmes. I ain't even gonna lie. She not even getting 400,000. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Like, if I took 10 bands from my girl and I made 100 M's off of it, I'll give her 100 bands. Like, baby, we did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you got 100 bands.
Apparently he said he'll give her 5 million, and she did not accept his offer and was forced to give him an ultimatum: either give her the 40 million she asked for, or she will be leaving him.
Oh, we breaking up. We out of here. We're not even a thing no more. It is what it is. Here go your $10,000.
Yeah, like that can't be the ultimatum. Either give me 40 million or I'm gone. Bye.
Like, they say money can't buy you love.
That is
I'm just
crazy.
saying. Hey, so we're gonna get into some of this stuff that's going on around the NFL now. If it was the season, I would say I could turn 10K into 100 million, but you know, that's a stretch for even Charlie C note. You know what I'm saying? But Kadeem, we got some rule changes in the NFL, bro. Like that, we'll jump off top with the rule changes, and some of them are making headlines, bro. Like the hip drop tackle, the quote unquote hip drop tackle, where you quote unquote unweight yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you can no longer unweight yourself while tackling your opponent, and land on their legs, however the rule is stated. Got to be honest with you, Kadeem. And I don't want to sound like everyone else with the put on the flags and now you can't tackle people and 10 years from now it's going to be flag football, because it's trending that way. But I got to be honest with you. This is the Go Time Dolphins has a annual CTE mental health awareness episode every May. We talk about it. So when they remove the head from the game and you know, try to eliminate concussions or bring down concussions, I was all for it. I'm gonna be real with you, Kadeem. I was all for it. Like you, I love football. Grew up playing football. My brothers grew up playing football. Football is life. Right. Just ranked ahead of jiu-jitsu. Then jiu-jitsu, there's football at the top, then there's jiu-jitsu, right? If my son, which I don't have yet, but when he does get here, if my son says, yo, I'm not playing football, I'm not going to trip. I'm like, all right, cool. The older me, I'll be like, nah, bro, you got to play football. You going to be, nah. So that's because of CTE awareness. This tackling stuff, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. There are inherited risks when you play football. And going down to the ground is one of them. And like, you understand the risk involved when you're getting tackled. I don't think we can just eradicate injuries from football, bro. And this hip drop tackle, not to sound like just this football purist or whatever word you want to insert here, but these rules is getting out of hand, bro. And I don't appreciate it. I don't like it.
So Jason has 2 comments. The first we will read later. It refers back to the initial topic, the initial question. But the second, he said, good rule change in my opinion. Jason, welcome to the chat. Glad to have your opinion. I agree with yourself, Charlie. I've never played football. You know, American football. I've played UK football. From watching, I can see that there is a risk. You can't eradicate injuries. If you could, you know, this isn't Madden where you can just turn injuries off. It doesn't work like that. Every single interaction, every single tackle, even we saw with the 49ers, a player running onto the field and tore his ACL, whatever it was. There's nothing
in the Super Bowl, right? Was that Super Bowl?
Yeah, in the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Super Bowl just gone. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. And I feel like this hip drop tackle, the rule change stems from, was it Mark Andrews or the Ravens? Him getting tackled by the hip drop, like breaking his leg, and they was like, no, we can't do that. And I just feel like, you know, every single year the league are making, it feels like every single year the league are making changes to make the game safer, but not for everyone. So I'll give you an example. The rule change which people don't like, where it's when tackling/sacking a quarterback, you can't put your weight on the quarterback. Okay, great. It protects the quarterback, but one of the biggest casualties is friend of the podcast, Paul Hayes. In trying to protect Derek Carr, he injured himself, and I don't think he played again. Like
in his career,
Yeah,
friend of the podcast, William Hayes tried to not land on Derek Carr,
yeah.
To not get a penalty and ended up tearing his ACL and never play football ever again.
So it's like, okay, Derek Carr gets to keep on playing and he's protected, but what about thing? So now you're going to get a situation where defenders are going to have to essentially unlearn everything they've learned for Lord knows how long to try and to protect a wide receiver or a running back or whoever's got the ball. And I just think that, okay, so what happens if you go to tackle, I guess, the rugby way, which is like both hands around the legs, shoulder, like not the quote unquote safe way to tackle, and then a player falls down and breaks their collarbone or breaks their shoulder. It's like it's a physical game. People are going to get hurt. I 100%, and I can understand where Jason Keck says you can change the ones that are more prone to causing injuries, major injuries, and that's one of them. But then it's like, where do you draw the line? Because even something like the chip block, where they've kind of changed the rules where you can't chip block in certain ways, that looks dangerous to me. Even if a player runs out very quickly, a player runs in and doesn't hip drop, but kind of like launches themselves to aim for like the 5, which is a safe place, but the player's leg is still standing. Like, I just don't see how
the Nick Chubb injury, his leg was planted, and got hit, and then it. Obviously, we seen the Nick Chubb injury. Whoever didn't see it, you don't want to see it. It looked more like the Willis McGahee injury in the Hurricanes game, where it went it just went the wrong way. So, are you going to make? And I'll cut you off, Kadeem, but are you going to make an injury saying you cannot tackle players if their foot is planted in the ground? You know what I'm saying? Now, shout out to Jason Keck. He rocked with us. We rock with him on in the comments all the time. And we could agree to disagree. But when NFL made this rule, they said, oh, this injury is 20% higher than the next one and all these other injuries. Well, now you made this rule against this injury, and now there's going to be another injury that's 20% higher than the rest of the injuries. So it's always going to be something. Like, legitimate is always going to be something. And this one is for me, it's like, I understand where people are. I ain't gonna lie. Some of these are pretty bad. They're egregious. I'm like, yo, this is bad. That's not good. But it's not common. You know what I'm saying? How many plays in the NFL happens every Sunday? And that injury does not happen. I guess, like, what is how do we define common and not common? But I get it that we want to be safer. I get it that we have to find out ways to not have players like, yo, the Bo Jackson tackle, the horse collar, right? That was a horse collar, ended Bo Jackson's career. My thing is, those were like career-ending injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like life-altering injuries. The helmet, removing the helmet, life-altering type tackles. This is not a life-altering tackle, and you can't just change all types of. Bro, it's gonna look like the Pro Bowl. Once upon a time, when there was a Pro Bowl, everybody just, we just hug each other and that's it. I think my mic went out. Did it go out? You can't.
No, all good.
All right, all good. So yeah, like you just wrap them up and that's it. You call a play, call a whistle. You feel me? So I don't like it. The hip drop tackle, and they have a name for it too. There was no name for it. That they made this name up for it. It was just a tackle. But it is what it is, bro. Like you can't hit a receiver above the shoulders. You can't unweight yourself. I don't know. And this is just another one of those things where refs get to throw a flag now, bro. Like now we get to throw a flag. Oh, first down, automatic. 3rd and 20. Guess what? He tackled him the wrong way. First down. So I don't know how you're gonna do it, but we're here. What other rule changes? Unless you have something else about the hip drop tackle, Kadeem. What other rule changes we got?
So Jason Keck said, I heard you simply can't lift both feet off the ground and use all your weight as I lose Charlie. Charlie, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Your video's gone.
I got you.
Cool. So Jason Keck says, I heard you simply can't lift both feet off the ground and use all your weight. And yes, the hip drop tackle, while it's been outlawed, there's a way to do it safely. I just think, again, in the blink of an eye, players don't have time to kind of not so much stop and go, well, how am I going to do this? But, and again, this isn't the same example, but it's similar to how, or in my opinion, similar to how with all these new quarterback rule changes and you can't do X, Y, and Z, you get players like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, who you saw last season, they'll escape the pocket, start running, slow down like they go into slide. So defenders kind of go, well, I'm not going to put my weight on you. Then they keep on going. And there was the playoff game against the Chiefs where I can't watch the Dolphins players kind of stop. And everyone's going, oh, why didn't you hit him? Because the moment the player kind of stops, defenders are now trained to go, well, I'm going to put my hands out to tap you down. They're just going to keep on going. So, again, it's not the same, but defenders are going to have to make, not life and death, but, fight or flight decisions and stuff like that. And do not be surprised if a few tackles get broken or touchdowns get scored because defenders are like, well, I would have done this, but now I can't. And listen, some players are going to take the penalty and all that kind of stuff. But, and so, yeah. First of all, shout out to Cap. He said, gentlemen, flag football, bro. And then Jason says, players are going to have to start practicing proper tackling techniques. Oh, my God, what a shame. But that's the thing. This was a proper tackling technique. This was up until, 48 hours ago. This got outlawed 48 hours ago. So they practiced it, they learned it, and the NFL just said, okay, now unlearn it. So they had to learn a different technique. But up until 48 hours ago, and in my opinion, before the Mark Andrews tackle, this was a proper tackling technique. And as so many players have said, okay, you're banning this, now go and ban turf. Because turf is having a lot of injuries and you guys do not care. This isn't so much a rule change, but how many players have come out and said, hey, get rid of Thursday night football, the turnaround is too quick, we don't like it.
That's crazy.
And
that's
last
crazy.
year, Roger Goodell said, hey, we will not be playing football on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. A year later, Christmas on a Wednesday, you guys have got football. And everyone's like, yo, what are we doing? You just told us there's no football on Wednesday. Now, as fans, we're going to watch it. We're going to love it. If the Dolphins are playing on Christmas again, we will be here after to discuss it. But, yo, you're taking the mick. You can't just keep on throwing these games in and then say, we care about player safety because we got rid of the tackle, but you're going to have to play Saturday and then Wednesday. Nah, like Goodell, it's a money-making scheme. It is what it is. What do you make of Christmas games this year?
I don't. All right, as a fan, of course, give it to me. As give me all you got, right? I want football on every day of the week. If I'm being honest with you, like every day of the week, give me football. As a human being, we're not supposed to have football every day of the week. All right, so those Thursday turnarounds, the analytics say that more people get hurt on Thursday night football, and it's not healthy for the players, and they can't recover fast enough. And then, the NFL would argue against it. Well, we're not sure that's why there's more injuries. And you know what I'm saying? So same thing with what you mentioned something earlier. And we're just too, I don't know, bro. I'm a fan, but I'm not a fan of putting players at risk. You just heard me say, if my kids didn't play football, I would be okay with it. And I would have never thought I would hear myself say that. So I understand trying to make it safer, but you can't talk out the side of your neck, bro, and say you're trying to make it safer and not making it safer at the same time by adding more games, earlier turnarounds or quicker turnarounds, games during the week. It doesn't, just like Kadeem said, taking a mick, right? So the Christmas game, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Here's a new thing. The kickoff will no longer look like the kickoff. For those who don't know, the new NFL kickoff will look like the XFL kickoff, where both the receiving team and the kicking team are stationary. They're standing still. They cannot move until the ball is received. And the kicking team lines up at like maybe the opponent's 35, and then the receiving team lines up at their own 25. So it's going to look drastically different. And I'll be honest with you, I am more okay with this rule change than I am with any other rule change, because I think it makes for more returns, actually. I think someone could get jiggy with this type of kickoff as opposed to all the rules that they made up to prevent returns in the last one, in the more popular kick return that it used to be. So I think you're going to see more returns with this kick return rule change. What you think?
Shout out to Hooked Up Joe. Welcome. He says, I heard the hip drop tackle was only used on average once per game last year. The potential for penalty seems to be the bigger factor. And if that is true, I know we kind of moved on. If that is true, it does, again, in my opinion, Mark Andrews got injured severely, and they said we can't have this happen again, so they changed the rule. But it is what it is. Jason Keck says, I love football, but I say do away with Thursday games. I somewhat agree.
I agree as well.
Yeah. And in terms of the kickoff, I think someone made a good joke on Dolphin Twitter saying for the Dolphins it doesn't matter because Jason Sanders still going to kick the ball out of the end zone. It is what it is. Listen, I think again stats showed that last year kick returns were down so much more. Like kickoff or touchdown scored from kick returns was down so much more and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting. I think it adds a new wrinkle to how you approach it. And again, I've seen some really interesting plays drawn up in the XFL where essentially because the receiving team in terms of the receiver and the line are a lot closer, they're doing jet sweeps and stuff like that. So again, people making the reference and the point, you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Devon Achane back there. The Dolphins can get jiggy in multiple ways.
I agree, bro. All you need is some quickness and some speed back there, and all of a sudden you could and there's only one wave. Like the older kickoff, the traditional, we'll call it the traditional kickoff, there's multiple waves. There's like 3 waves you got to get by. You make it past that first wave, you're probably gonna have like a 40-yard return. You make it past that second wave, you're probably gonna have like a 60-yard return. Then you make it past that third wave, you go into the end zone. This is like, hey, you see daylight one time, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you don't put your studs back there, but you put some speed back there and someone who could get, twitchy. You can maximize off of this, and then they'll probably have to change it again because they returned it too many. Yeah,
that wouldn't surprise me. It's like it'd be like touchdowns from kickoffs went up like 45%. They don't like it and stuff like that. Again, it's something which they say they've changed to make it safer, and if that's the case, then great. But again, teams, what will probably happen, in my opinion, is that you might see some big returns in the first few games, and teams say to kickers, kick out the end zone. Like, let's not risk it. Just boot out, just kick it into the crowd. So interesting to see how it happens and how it develops. But I thought that was somewhat interesting. Hooked Up Joe says, I like the new kickoff rules. The special teams coaches all worked it out to make it relevant again. He also said, the biggest issue was to cut down on injuries and make it more in line with the line of scrimmage injury rate, which, understandable. Robert Ashton says, hi guys, sorry I'm late. Robert, doesn't matter, you're here, that's all that matters. Welcome, get involved in the conversation. If you're watching on YouTube, be it during the fact or after. If you're listening on Twitter, get involved as well. Quite a lot of us over here, so say hi, just for the fans, by the fans. We want to hear your opinions as well. There was one rule change I want to quickly get through. I might say this wrong, so if I do, correct me. But haven't they now made it where flags can be picked up on quarterback hits, which aren't quarterback hits?
I haven't heard that one.
So let me double check. But if I'm correct, it does sound like some of these goes quarterback hits, and again, the one that springs to my mind immediately is Jalen Phillips and Justin Herbert against the Chargers, where it's a clean tackle, a clean hit, and the flag gets thrown and it's a first down. I think they've said that they're not able to review that, and if a flag is thrown on a ghost quarterback hit, they can pick up. But let me double check that. One thing that has been confirmed is the trade window being pushed back a week to week 9.
The trade deadline has been pushed back to week 9, and I speculate that they're going to keep moving it back either every year or every other year. I don't think that's good for football. I don't mind it being week 9 because it's the middle of the season. There's 18 weeks. So, okay, week 9 is fine. But if it starts to get to week 13 and 14 and you can just – teams can start tanking. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we're trading all of our players. We didn't make the playoffs. We're tanking now. And then teams that are playoff contenders will start buying. So now you're going to get this – the parity in the NFL is better than any other league in the world, any league in the world. And that's why you have the turnarounds so quick. And that's why you have divisions like, man, look how tough this division is, except for the NFC least, because they're trash out there. But anyway, like if you move the trade deadline back too much, that's what you're going to get. I don't mind it being at week 9 because it's the middle of the season, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you'll definitely see a few. If right now it's still not too bad, but if it gets pushed back further and further, and like you said, it gets like week 13, week 14, you will see teams who are in desperate contention for the number 1 overall pick, and a team that is in desperate contention of making the playoffs, if not and even win the Super Bowl, and saying, hey, you got this receiver, which your season's done. Give them to us for a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Your team gets worse. You get an extra draft pick, and we can again get jiggy and see what happens. So, yeah, I'm not the biggest. No, I don't mind it right now. But keep it around week 9. Anything later than that, I'm not the biggest fan. I think the rule I was talking about, maybe not. There is a rule change where it says replay can now be used. Replay can now be used to overturn a ruling that a quarterback was down or out of bounds before throwing a pass. Maybe I've read that wrong. But yeah, I think those are the major rule changes.
I feel like you can review that before if a quarterback was down or not.
That's according to NBC Sports. That's what the rule change is being made. Just having a quick look at NFL.com to see kickoffs, hip drop tackle, filibuster for me while I have a quick read. No. I feel like when a quarterback is about to throw a pass, but he was down before he threw it, I think that should be reviewable. I don't see why that wouldn't have been reviewable before. So I don't know why that would be a rule now. Now, if we're talking about penalties when it comes to quarterbacks, like it was a hands to the face, quarterback hand, roughing the passer, hands to the face or whatever on the quarterback. Turns out it didn't hit his face, and you can review that. I'm all for it because we got to get those right. Matter of fact, I'm all for reviewing everything, by the way. Like, let me put that out there. I think everything should be reviewed at a minimum in New York, quote unquote, in the headquarters where they be like, not bring it back. Oh, no, that was a penalty. Like, if we're going to do that, I don't mind it coming from, the headquarters and then keeping the game running along. I'm not talking about stopping the unlimited challenges. I'm not talking about that. So I'm okay with everything being reviewable, not everything being reviewed, I should say. So, yeah, everything should be reviewable, in my opinion. Yeah, I guess I was talking rubbish about that quarterback one. But Tim Cavo says they won't bring in a rule to review ghost quarterback hits. They want to protect them too much that any contact would mean they will stick with the flag. And then Hooked Up Joe says, Rizzy did a good show on the new special team rules on the Pat McAfee show, worth a watch. Thank you very much. We'll definitely go back and check that out. If you're watching, if you're listening, any other rule changes before we talk about Miami Dolphins?
No. You know, it's off season, pro days, and Chris Greer and Mike McDrip went to Texas Pro Day. Everybody talking about the fastest receiver in the draft. We got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the Dolphins, bro. Where you want to start?
I guess we touched upon it in our last live episode, and obviously we spoke about Odell Beckham going for the visit. We didn't know at the time, but he was going for a visit for the following day. Mike McDaniel has confirmed that the Dolphins have made an offer to Odell Beckham. Obviously, hasn't been accepted yet. Now kind of just sitting there waiting. What do you make of that? That he hasn't accepted it or rejected it straight away?
I believe he thinks he's worth more than what he is, and he just wants to get a feel for it. But it's the NFL. I think people know, windows close. Like, bro, you could be here in Miami. You can make this $7 million a year if you want. Not saying that we know the number is $7 million, but you can make this $7 million if you want. Or you can wait it out. You could wait till week 5 and go somewhere whom someone might pay you 10 because they lost a receiver, and you could be the number 2 on someone's team, but halfway through the season. I don't know what Odell Beckham Jr. is thinking, but I think it's pretty cool that the Dolphins did give an offer when we were actually on the podcast. Like, yo, the Dolphins, this would be the most Miami Dolphin thing. Like, this would be on par with Miami Dolphins to bring in Odell Beckham Jr. and then still not necessarily win the offseason, but still make us a splash in the offseason. So I actually think it fits too. Odell Beckham Jr. as the 3rd receiver on the Miami Dolphins. I don't dislike it, bro. I don't hate it. Like, I'm okay with that. Especially if someone goes down, you got two more receivers. I'm feeling it actually. So I would hope he would have already signed it. Like, bro, let's make this happen. Let's turn a corner. Let's get to work. Because the longer you wait, the more things can change. All of a sudden, someone wants to trade back in the draft. Now Chris Greer is doing magic. Now he says, "Oh, we just acquired a 3rd round pick, so now we're going to pick a receiver in the 3rd round." OBJ is not even in the conversation no more. So I trust this team. I trust the franchise. I trust the organization. Let me take that back. I trust Chris Greer. I don't really trust, you know what I'm saying? I trust Chris Greer. I don't really trust the organization too much, but I trust Chris Greer to get it right. I believe he's gotten it right for the most part. Maybe 88% of the time he's gotten it right. Missed on some picks, but everyone does. And it's funny how the internet. So there was a tweet going out. I can't remember who put it out, but it was saying how let's look at Chris Greer's 1st round picks in the past. Let's look at what Chris Greer has done with the Miami Dolphins 1st round picks is what the post was. And it was Christian Wilkinson, Tua, friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, Noah Igbenogany, Jalen Phillips, Jalen Waddle, Bradley Chubb, and Tyreek Hill. That's what Chris Greer has done with the 1st round picks in the past 3-4 years. Noah Igbenogany is the only 1st round pick that did not pan out. And you know how I feel about that, Kadeem. I believe that was a Brian Flores pick. And I'm on the record saying that, and I still think that was a Brian Flores pick. I think Brian Flores said, yo, I want one. I want to put my hand in some of this. I want one of them picks. We got 3 of them. Let me pick the DB. I'm the defensive coordinator. And look what happened. That's all I'm saying. But we'll never know. Maybe we will know. It'll come out eventually.
So cap for life says Charles Harris. And again, Charles Harris is not a Chris Greer pick. He's just, in terms of Chris Greer having final say, he's a lone GM. Charles Harris was not a Chris Greer pick. Same way Minkah Fitzpatrick was not a Chris Greer pick. But Chris Greer gets banded in with these guys because he was in the building. It doesn't work like that. Tim Caro says no games for ages. Miami and OBJ are in no hurry, both happy to wait for a while and see. And yeah, I can understand that. It's like, you have time, sleep on it, think about it, speak to Kim Kardashian, speak to whoever you've got to speak to, is what it is. But like you said, it's things go out the window in essentially a month when the Dolphins when the Dolphins
Go on the clock.
yeah, and they get more draft picks. And listen, the Dolphins don't have this extremely, wide or deep wide receiver room where you can draft, where you're not going to pick up Odell Beckham for $7 million a year because you drafted the guy in the third or fourth round, or even the second round. Even the first round, you're still going to pick someone up. So Odell Beckham up. But it's also, well, see how we offered you 7 before because we really, really needed you? Well, now we only really need you. So now it's 5 million. And if you keep on waiting and we pick up a UDFA and he's Preston Williams 2.0, but he's not injury prone, now it's only 3 million. So, the longer you leave it, you just never know. And not to mention, hey, I saw, and this isn't true, but give it 2 weeks time, you see a video of Mike Thomas running routes and stuff like that. Yo, Mike, do you want to come over? Because you're taller than Odell Beckham. So yeah,
definitely a bigger body than OBJ. Before you get off the topic of wide receivers, Jalen Waddle was on Twitter and said, "This one hurt, man. This is quote. This one hurt, man. That was my dog." And he was talking about Cedric Wilson Jr. moving on from Miami. So what the fan base looks at Cedric Wilson as is like, oh, he was a lost cause, didn't do nothing, barely used him. Why do we even acquire him? Although we acquired him before Tyreek Hill trade, and that's why we acquired him. So, the relationships are way different than what we think they are from the outside and what they are on the inside of the building, i.e. Jalen Waddle says, man, this one hurt. That was my dog. And then Lynn Bowden Jr. gets on the tweet and says, hey, what is it? It's time for them to bring me back. Revenge tour. And then Jalen Waddle hits him with the side-eye emoji. Well, not a side-eye emoji, like the two eyes, like, oh, scary, he says. And then Lynn Bowden Jr. says, tell him I'll come in on approve it. I just want to compete. What do you make of that, Kadeem? You interested in Lynn Bowden Jr. coming back to the Miami Dolphins?
As I just said, the Dolphins aren't super deep at wide receiver. Hey, come in, see what it looks like. What's the worst that happens? He pans out and gets a second chance and it works out. Great. That's not even the worst that happened. The worst that happens is Dolphins go, thank you very much. How you got the boarding again. That's the worst that happens. The best that happens.
Say that again.
So I'll say, like, if you bring in Lynn Bowden, the worst thing that happens is he comes in, it doesn't pan out, and you let him go before the season kicks off. That's the worst thing that happens. You know better, you know worse. The best that happens is, hey, he's come back with a supersized chip on his shoulder. He competes. He makes plays during the season, and it's, I think it's very important to remember what you said about Cedric Wilson Jr. in that when the Dolphins signed him, he was declared wide receiver number 2/number 1 because the Dolphins didn't have Tyreek Hill. They added Tyreek Hill after, and things went out the window. But when they picked up Cedric Wilson, they didn't know that they was getting Tyreek Hill. If they did, they probably don't spend the money they did on Cedric Wilson. They either bring him in for less or they do something different. So, yeah, that's what I feel about Odell Beckham. And very quickly, I'm not ignoring you, Cap. So Cap says, Josh Mostert from WSVN Channel 7 News confirms Chris Greer drafted David Howard in 2016. Charles Harris was 2017. You can't have it both ways, Kadeem. And I can't have it both ways. So I am looking on Wikipedia, and it says Mike Tannenbaum was executive vice president of football operations from 2015 to 2018. And just so I am not going mad, Chris Greer, according to Wikipedia, when did Chris Greer become GM?
He was GM while Mike Tannenbaum was the whatever you just called him. However, Chris Greer was GM. He wasn't GM with exclusivity. He became the exclusive. Everything stops at Chris Greer in 2019. That's when he had full control. So what Cap is saying is, well, it's confirmed that Chris Greer drafted Xavier Howard, which could be accurate. But what we're saying is Chris Greer had full control, and every decision falls on Chris Greer started in 2019. Prior to 2019, it was split responsibility. Tannenbaum was responsible for some picks. Chris Greer was responsible for some stuff, and it was just too, what they say, convoluted. You know what I'm saying? It was just too messy. So we couldn't really put something on somebody. Now, starting in 2019 is when Chris Greer could get all the blame or all the credit. That's where the conundrum is.
Yeah. So the Great Finn fan says, "Yo, what's up?" Cap says, "Only draft pick that Tannenbaum was ever involved with was Jordan Phillips. You guys never heard anyone say, I believe that should be Tannenbaum drafted X. Come on, man, stop it." Everybody gave Greer credit for that. I've legitimately never heard anyone give Chris Greer credit for Xavier Howard, because that would then fall into the whole, well, Chris Greer can draft. Like, I'm just not. I haven't seen anyone say that. Tannenbaum never got credit for drafting X. You all know Chris Greer got credit for, I think I just read that. Jordan Phillips was.
Hold on, let's stop right here. This is what we're saying. We can't put a pick on a person prior to 2019. The only thing we could do is put all the picks on Greer since 2019. Everything before that is just pointing fingers. He say, she say. We think this was the case. We thought that was the case, but it was too messy. Like Tannenbaum had control over certain stuff. Chris Greer never had full control until 2019. That is a fact. So he never had full control. Last say, press the green button pusher. He was never that until 2019, which he brought in Brian Flores, which was his decision, which looked like the right decision at the time. Then he brought in Mike McDaniel. So all of the blame could either go on Chris Greer now, or he gets all of the credit now. So that started in 2019. Everything prior to 2019, there was too many hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah. Mike McDaniel also spoke about Tua and potential sitting out during the offseason over his contract, which I promise you, whatever day that drops, Charlie, I need you to stop what you're doing and come online immediately, because the internet is going to lose its mind when the Dolphins give Tua Tagovailoa over $50 million a year. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. But Mike McDaniel said that he isn't expecting Tua to sit out any off-season activities. What do you make of that?
Do you expect Tua to sit out? Bro, Tua not sitting out, bro. We could barely get Tua to do the talk to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, he's not going to sit out, bro. Like, I love Tua to death. Matter of fact, look. Check out the hoodie. You feel me? Look, I'm rocking the Tua hoodie right now, bro. Tua's not sitting out, bro. He's not that dude to sit out, bro. And I wish he was. I wish he was more. We could get scrappy when we need to get scrappy. I wish that was more Tua. I wish we had more salty Tua. Shout out to Rich Eisen. But we don't have a lot of salty Tua, bro. He's not sitting out, man. Come on, bro. He's not gonna sit out. You think Tua gonna sit out, Kadeem?
No, I can't. And listen, if he does, good on him. Like, until you get your money, do what you want. I don't care who sits out. But at the same time, yeah, I don't think he'll sit out, because it does. Again, from all the signs, it does seem like there is a clear, we want to keep you here, and we're kind of accepting what we're going to pay you. I guess if you look at someone like Christian Wilkins, where it was like, hey, we want to keep you, but we actually aren't sure on what we're going to give you. I don't think it's that with the Dolphins and Tua. And listen, that doesn't mean I'm expecting a deal to get done tomorrow, because again, it's probably a case of they're not speaking every single day. Tua's on holiday. They've got to prepare for the draft, all that kind of stuff. But I can't see Tua sitting out. And from what the insiders say, a deal will be done around training camp. So yeah, again, I can imagine how Dolphin Twitter is. If Tua does sit out, it will be used as a word against him. He doesn't love the Dolphins. He doesn't love the game. He's sitting out, blah, blah, blah. If anything, I want to see him sit out just to see the reaction, because it won't be a case of he's doing what's best for him until he gets it. It will be a case of it's Tua being selfish or whatever. He doesn't want to be here, blah 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 blah. So yeah, but we will see how it happens, how it goes. All I care about is what's best for the team, over what's best for Tua. I want a deal that is obviously great for Tua, but doesn't put the Dolphins in financial cap hole down the line, because that's never a good thing.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Every single team in the NFL should have paid a 6th-round pick for Justin Fields, bro. Everybody was supposed to do that. Like, pay Tua his $50 million.
Sorry. Say that again, sorry. I didn't quite hear you. I've got a hat on, so my the headphones, and there's a little bit of crack because obviously you're in the States and stuff like that. So just if you could repeat what you said, I would, I'm moving the hat in the air. So if you say that again, sorry.
I said every team should have traded a 6th-round pick for Justin Fields.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but you gave us some erroneous information. It's not his 3rd season; it's his 4th season, so it's only a rental. So I hope you heard that part too. By the way,
no. I agree, and shout out to whoever was on Patreon who correctly pointed out. It's like pennies this year, but next year it's like $15 million.
It's a rental. It's a rental for sure. So you still have them for this year. Yo, 67 quarterbacks started a game in the NFL last year. There's only 32 starters. So that tells you need a backup quarterback. So even if you have Justin Fields on your team as a backup quarterback for one season, it's worth it. A 6th-round pick for sure. But I would have paid Tua before we did that. So there's no crazy media storm around, the Dolphins brought in Justin Fields. How do you feel about that, Tua? Nah, bro. Tua can answer, they paid me $50 million for the next 4 years. I feel happy that we have a pretty dope backup behind me that can start in the NFL. Like that's what he'll be able to say. So, bro, I found this on the internet, bro. PFF, according to PFF, Kendall Fuller, bro. Oh, by the way, before we get into that, Nick Hicks and Perform says Tua's going to shed a lot of the weight and get faster, and his agility is we want his agility to be a little bit better than what it was. I don't think it's 500 yards rushing yards worthy, but he's not going to run like he ran in Alabama, bro. That Tua has left the building. Yeah. He's not that. Tua was the second coming of Russell Wilson when it came to his feet. You know what I'm saying? That's long gone. You're never going to see that Tua again. But do you think it's going to help any when it comes to rushing yards? Is he going to have more than 7 rushing yards a game, Kadeem? Matter of fact, that's the question. Over, under 7 rushing yards a game from Tua after he sheds the weight.
I'll still go under. I think for me, it's not even so much the rushing yards, it's some of that agility in the pocket to move and stuff like that, and to scramble where necessary. And I think again, it's if you look at Tua's career from Alabama to now with all the injuries and stuff like that, go back and listen to what Nick Saban said about Tua. Yo, dude, just get rid of the ball. Not every single play needs to be hearable, and some of the injuries he has picked up, be it at Alabama or the Dolphins, have done from him playing hero ball. Listen, people can make all the nasty, sick jokes about that Bengals injury. Tua, get rid of the ball. Like, held him to it way too long, and the injury, it's not fully his fault, but dude, you held him to the ball way too long in the NFL. You do that, you're gonna get hurt. And it probably was all of Tua's fault, because that wasn't Jesse Davis.
I think it is his fault, bro.
It wasn't.
He had the ball for like 6 seconds in that play.
Yeah. It wasn't a Jesse Davis Bills where it's like, hey, like Jesse Davis wasn't even there. This was Tua giving it the ball. So I think it's a case of, Tua's not going to be dodging and dipping and diving to extend the play, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, hey, you've seen Tua get jiggy where possible in the pocket. You've seen him get jiggy out of the pocket. And it's about each year developing, improving. And the one thing he's admitted and everyone else has said, hey, being able to play off script a bit better. So I think that's what it's about, or even something as simple as, and I've been calling for this since his rookie season, just having some plays where, it's a design QB rollout and he can throw on a run and stuff like that. Just making those kind of improvements, because Tua can be really good at throwing on the run. And very quickly, we've got a lot of comments. Shout out to everyone who does comment. I'm not doing the Oliver Begging Bowl, but we now have super chats on YouTube as well. So if you are guaranteed your chat to be read out, jump in on super chats. But going back to some of the draft picks, Cap was saying that, that tells you right there, if you can't figure out who drafted who, that's a problem in itself, and that's his point. Tim said, like last year, Mike McDaniel clearly picked Achan after that reaction, but still a great pick as he's the man at the helm. And
hold on. Technically, Chris Greer sent Mike McDaniel A-Chan footage like, yo, check this player out. We really like him. And Mike McDaniel sat on the A-Chan tape for a while and then was convinced to take him. And then he was like, yo, the more I watched A-Chan, the more I wanted him. So that actually came from Greer too. But McDaniel pulled the trigger because obviously he's pretty important when it comes to, yo, I need a certain type of running back for my system.
Yeah. Same with Raekwon Davis and Brian Flores. But like that, Chris Greer sent the pick in, but that, in my opinion, I'm sure you agree, that was Brian Flores saying, yo, get this guy. You get this guy and we can do X, Y, and Z. So Tim says the Tua deal is getting done. There's no issues or hardball. He will be there. Even the contract isn't final. Cap says athletes first are a bunch of dogs. With all the endorsements that Tua has had in the offseason, he possibly can't hold out. He says can. I think he says can't. Tua can 100% hold out, like 100%. Players hold out all the time with less leverage and less off-season plaudits. The Great Finn fan says, why is everyone so enamored of Justin Fields? I prefer a pocket pro star quarterback. And very quickly, I'll throw to you on that one. It's the ability to just run like a running back. Like, again, when the play breaks down, his ability to pick up 70 yards without even breaking a sweat. You saw it when we played the Bears.
Hold on. I want to be clear. I want to clear this up. Shout out to the Great Fans fan for the comment. But we're not talking about Justin Fields being the starter for the Miami Dolphins. Justin Fields was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 6th-round pick to be a backup to Russell Wilson for one season as a rental. What I am saying is every team in the NFL should have been in on that because it's only a 6th-round pick to have Justin Fields as your backup for one season. That's what I'm talking about. And still pay Tua, and you have Justin Fields as your backup. So I am not enamored with Justin Fields because he won't even be able to get the ball to Tyreek Hill and Waddle the way we need him to. But if Tua went down, he would be the backup that you want because he could still run the ball, get jiggy, like Kadeem was just saying, and you still have a chance to win as opposed to having Mike White or Skylar Thompson as your backup. So that's why I would trade a 6th-round pick for Justin Fields. I'm not saying I want Justin Fields as a starter for the Miami Dolphins.
And I think that kind of goes on to what Tim was saying, where Tim says, I don't get the backup quarterback. If QB1 goes down in every team apart from the Browns, but that's due to Watson being totally uninterested in playing, they're done. Why do we need to be different? And I'll throw it to you first, Charlie. What do you make of that?
Because it's a 6th-round pick and it's basically free. So if you had a chance to have a free, it's almost like all right, let me not throw no analogies out there, but it's just a 6th-round pick. Again, I'll say it like this: 60, this is an actual number. 67 different quarterbacks started in the NFL last year. There's only 32 starters in the NFL. So that tells you that you need a backup quarterback that is competent. Justin Fields is a competent quarterback. He's one of the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So for you to be able to get Justin Fields for a 6th-round pick, I think it's a no-brainer just in case your quarterback goes down. As opposed to, well, we didn't use this 6th-round pick on Justin Fields. Now we seen what Skylar Thompson looked like. We seen what Mike White looked like. You guys prefer Mike White, Skylar Thompson over Justin Fields? If I just say, hey, next year is the last season of football, and this is the last Super Bowl that's ever going to happen in our lifetime in football. There's no more football after next season coming up. Who do you want your backup to be? Justin Fields, Mike White, or Skylar Thompson? I think everybody would say Justin Fields. And then correct me if I'm wrong, Mike White probably makes more than Justin Fields today. So it's a no-brainer to me. It's just economics.
Yeah. He then says, in Cincinnati, if Burrow finishes the season, they're great. AFC Championship and Super Bowl. The 50% when Burrow is injured, they're nowhere. No point in paying for a quality QB2. I was just going to say, but that's why you probably pay for a quality QB2. And again, it's
not only that, you don't have to pay for Justin Fields, is what I'm saying. Justin Fields is already under contract for his rookie deal. So I don't know what he's making this year. We could probably I don't know if you could fact check that real quick, Kadeem. Justin Fields is probably making less than $8 million this season as a backup quarterback. And if I'm being honest with you, it might be less than $5 million. I don't know the numbers off the top. If it's above $10 million, now we might have to revamp this conversation a little bit. But I think it's less than that. And I think it's way less than that, if I'm being honest with you.
I'm gonna move my camera.
No, I'll look it up.
No, I've got it, but I want you to read it off the thing. So Charlie, what does that say? 2024 Justin Fields, Chicago Bears.
Let's see. Was that a 4? Kind of blurry. Is that a 4?
That's a 1.
Yeah, $1 million.
$1.6 million.
So Justin Fields is making one. We'll call it 2. Justin Fields is making $2 million this year. That is, you're not paying money for a backup quarterback. You're not even finding a backup quarterback for $2 million this year. So that's why I would take Justin Fields as a backup quarterback, because you don't have to pay him, at least this season. Next season is when you have to. 2025 is when you have
25 mil. Probably 25 mil next year.
Yeah, like for the fifth-year contract.
Yeah, I think with
fifth-year option. I'm sorry, fifth-year option.
And before we get to bonus time, I think the thing with a backup quarterback is that you never want to go down to your backup quarterback, because once you do, the chance are your season is probably done. But probably is a great word. And if you've got a quarterback who can essentially see you over the line before your QB1 gets back, great. And if you're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, when Carson Wentz goes down and you win the Super Bowl with your backup quarterback, even better. Like, that's the my days Madden, ESPN, Netflix movie. That is perfect. Like, yeah.
Kadeem, the Eagles aren't the only team to make it to the Super Bowl and go 13 weeks with their starter. The starter goes down and then the backup comes in and win the Super Bowl. Do you know another team who their starter went down and then they won the Super Bowl?
I know a team whose starter went down. They brought in this 6th-round draft pick, and he went on to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Oh, that's another one. I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking about that's another one.
But who were you talking about?
I was talking about the 72 Dolphins where Greasy went down and Errol Morrell came in. Morrell came in, went undefeated, and took us to the Super Bowl. And then Greasy came back. So your backup is important, but in this case, I sound like the Niners is another one. But I sound like I'm really trying to bring in Justin Fields, which I'm not. But he's free. He's literally free. He's a free backup for a season. It is what it is. I would have did it. Look, we're gonna get into bonus time. I got some stuff I really want to say. Y'all come on over to bonus time with us. We're gonna play some little dope music on the way out, and then throw some graphics up, and then we'll get the bonus time. But I got something to say in bonus time. Y'all come over with us, please, and thank you in advance. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
What's you got, Kadeem?
I want to have a backup quarterback conversation, but not now because it's a general conversation. I had it with 5 Yard Lead the other day from the Dolphin UK podcast. Very quickly, what we basically said about all these people that say that the Dolphins need to bring in a backup quarterback to compete with Tua. No team brings in a backup quarterback to compete. He's a backup for a reason. You bring in a good one because they might play, but even people that say, and we'll bring up Tom Brady or 12. The Patriots did not draft 12 to lead the dynasty for the next 20 years. They brought him in because, like, hey, can you do a job if you come in? And they lucked out. But that's the basis of that conversation. Backup quarterbacks aren't there to compete. They're just there to be really cheap, and hopefully you never have to see them.
I disagree a little bit because I think there are teams that bring in backup quarterbacks to compete, and those are the teams that don't believe in their starting quarterback. So you're going to have teams where, oh, we have two quarterbacks. We like both of them. Those are the teams would be like, oh, well, if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. We're not that team. And people who say they need to bring in a quarterback to compete with Tua probably don't believe in Tua. You know what I'm saying? So we don't need a quarterback to compete with Tua. We don't need to allocate $18 to $20 million on the bench to compete with Tua. That's stupidity. Like, and I think that's what Tim thought Justin Fields' contract looked like. Like he probably didn't know it was only $1 million. So no, we don't need that. We don't need to allocate resources to or money like that to the backup quarterback position, in my opinion. That being said, there are teams who like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett, what was he doing? Like, yeah, you might want to bring somebody to compete with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett was another one who fake slid and then kept running in college and didn't get hit and used that rule to his advantage, by the way. So, yeah, there are some teams I could probably think of that need some quarterback help that you want to compete with, but Dolphins are not one of them. And in my opinion, I'm not just saying this because I was on them last year. Jaren Hall is probably free in Minnesota. He was a 5th-round pick. He's getting paid probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he has 3 more seasons on his rookie contract left. I would really explore a trade with the Vikings for Jaren Hall, but it's unlikely. He didn't really get a good look. I don't know why you draft someone if you're not going to give him a good look, but it is what it is.
Raphael Courtwright just said something which I want to bring up at the very, very start. He said what happened in Baltimore. If you haven't seen it, Raphael or anyone, a bridge collapsed. I believe was an O-liner hit the bridge.
So it was some type of freight liner, a boat, a ship, hit one of the pylons of the bridge, and the entire bridge collapsed. From what I understand, which these numbers could be erroneous, there were 7 cars and 3 pedestrians on the bridge when it collapsed, or vice versa. But there are rescue attempts still going on, and it's unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, so obviously our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Baltimore that's been affected by that. It's a horrible thing to happen. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up at the very, very start. Yeah. Was there anything in particular you wanted to get into for the rest of bonus time?
I did, bro. Kendall Fuller, according to PFF, has allowed less than 30 passing yards in a game 18 times since 2022. Less than 30 passing yards in a game 18 times since 2022. Bro, that's great, bro. That's way better than Xavier Howard. What's funny, bro?
It's just the part in Xavier Howard shots. Like, I absolutely loved it. Shout out to Franklin Stubbs. Says good afternoon. Fins up. Welcome, Franklin. When we picked up Kendall Fuller, I saw someone. I can't remember what chat it was or where it was, but someone was like, "Oh, but Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins cooked Kendall Fuller and the Commander. Like, they're pretty sure one of Tyreek Hill's touchdowns was on Kendall Fuller." And I said straight away, yo, Tyreek Hill does that to everyone. Like,
yeah.
Do you pick up a quarterback because they got burned by Tyreek Hill and Tua last year? Yo, like, I understand it probably wasn't a good look, but being burnt by Tyreek Hill in the NFL doesn't make you a bad quarterback. It does not. And again, it's if Kendall Fuller can bring that kind of defense to Miami Dolphins over the next few years, partner that with Jalen Ramsey, and then I'd still want to see some 20K cam this year. The Dolphins are in a good place. What's been brilliant as well is seeing people do mock drafts with the Dolphins taking a cornerback in the first round. And I'm telling you now, listen, it would be, again, I'm an agent of chaos. I love it. It would be brilliant, especially as I'm 99.999 sure we'll be doing a live stream. Our reaction of the Dolphins drafting a cornerback in the first round will just be like, you're quickly what we did. But listen, I genuinely can't wait to jump into mock drafts, 2Chase24, all that good stuff. Kendall Fuller seemed like a great pickup for the Dolphins in 2024. And yeah.
So I brought that up about Kendall Fuller because Xavier Howard's been in the media lately. And I'm going to read the Xavier Howard quote according to NFL Network and Dolphins Nation on Facebook. Xavier Howard allegedly said, "I'd rather take a pay cut to go to a team that's going to go further in the playoffs," Howard said. "I got my money," and stuff like that. I'm to the point, like, how much money do you really need? He said. "My goal is always to try to win a Super Bowl. Don't let the money get in the way of winning a Super Bowl. Some people get paid. Some people win a Super Bowl. Some people do both. You do both, you're different. I want to be different. I want to win a Super Bowl now. I already got paid. So now Super Bowl is what I'm looking forward to." End quote. And all I'm going to say is, I told y'all so. He used us, bro. He fleeced us. He got over on us. He got his money, bro. He doesn't even like, bro, I knew we should have moved on from that clown, bro. Like, he's a clown. And this is not no podcast talk where it ends up on social media and say, oh, people talk big behind a microphone, wouldn't say it to these boys' face. I didn't take a shot at him and his family. Like, no, he's a clown. You know what I'm saying? He's not as good as what people think he is. And that's all I'm saying. He is not worth the money that we paid him. That's all I'm saying. And I'll say that in person if I had to. And he got over on us. You know what I want, Kadeem? I want Xavier Howard to go wherever he's going to go, and then the Dolphins win the Super Bowl without him. That would be poetic justice, bro. I would love that.
I can see Xavier Howard this year at the very least joining the team that played the Dolphins. I can see him doing that. As a kind of you shouldn't have opted to take a pay cut.
I'm throwing at him all game. I'm going at him all game, bro. That's easy pickings right there. That's easy money. Hey, whoever Xavier Howard lines up across, play him in fantasy football. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. Before I sign out, you got anything else?
That's all I got, bro.
Listen, before you go off to spend the evening with your wonderful families, everyone, or if you're listening in the morning before you get your coffee and your donut for work, all that kind of stuff, again, it'll be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated if you go back and watch our episodes with the two college prospects, Julius Wilkerson and the champ, aka Carlos Ebola. Great guys. Leave a comment.
It's Roballo.
So,
and if you roll the R's, it's Roballo.
You know what I'm saying? I can't roll
depending on what type of Spanish you speak. I'm just saying.
I can't roll R, so apologies. I just call him champ because he's a champ, not just in our eyes, but literally a legit wrestling high school champ. So yeah, go check out both episodes. Leave a comment. We wish them all the best. Best of luck in the draft process. If either one makes the Dolphins, I want to interview. Like, listen, come back on the podcast. Tell us what it's like being a Miami Dolphin. But yeah, guys, we shall see you on. And I catch my breath again. See you on the next one. Peace.